I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get to the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're good and educated about the show, click on that merchandise tab. That's going to take you directly to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and all the gimmicks you've come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck. That's right, socks, wall art, throw pillows, bed sets, it's all there. You can outfit your entire home or your entire body with Renegades of Puck merchandise, and we would appreciate if you would go ahead and do that. After all, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this independent hockey operation, so listen up. Please help us out. Give us some support. It doesn't take you but a second. It certainly doesn't cost you a thing. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are the social media platforms where you can find the Renegades of Puck. You can also find us on YouTube, and thank you very much to all of the recent subscribers. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you. You can find our behind-the-scenes live stream on Twitch. That's happening right over there on that camera. And if there's any behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on, extra coverage, extra conversations, it's all going to happen right there on Twitch. So subscribe there. And the audio podcast can be found on numerous platforms. Just search Renegades of Puck on your preferred platform. Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Amazon, just a couple of the different places where you can find the Renegades of Puck podcast. But it's available in plenty of other places completely for free. Stick tapped love and respect for any support we can get on any or all of those different platforms. You can become a friend and partner of the show by going to Venmo and searching Renegades of Puck, or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Any donation, and thanks to generous donations from Renegades just like you, we've been able to make significant upgrades here in the bunker, from the microphone to the camera to the lighting, and also we are looking to upgrade the computer and some of the technology behind the scenes, as we're also planning big live events coming up in the near future. More on that coming soon. So we appreciate everything you've been able to do. Even $1 goes a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck. Now, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 720. That's right. We're already to operation number 720. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division after 56 games skated. They have a record of 28, 22, and 62 points on the road where their next game will take place. They have a record of 12, 12, and 3. Not bad overall to have a 500 record on the road at this point in the season. 163 is the goals for, 169 is the goals against. That means the goal differential is -6. Now, the Nashville Predators' next opponent is also in the Central Division. It is the Arizona Coyotes, and they currently find themselves in 7th place in the Central Division. After 58 games skated, 2 more games than Nashville, they hold a record of 20 victories, 29 regulation losses, and 9 overtime losses, 49 points. They have a home record of 13, 9, and 2. They've scored 158 goals, and they've given up 205 goals. That means they have a goal differential of -47. Now, let's talk about the entire Central Division from the top down, because we are at that point where we need to start updating the standings as often as we can. The Dallas Stars continue to be in 1st place with 72 points. The Winnipeg Jets are 1 point behind at 71. They have played the same amount of games. The Minnesota Wild have also played 58 games, just like the top 2 teams in the division. The Minnesota Wild have 69 points. They are currently sitting 3 points out of 1st place, and they are automatically qualified for the playoffs at this moment in time. The Colorado Avalanche are in 4th place with 67 points, then Nashville with 62, St. Louis with 56, Arizona with 49, and the Chicago Blackhawks are in 8th place and last in the Central Division with 45 points. That means that the Nashville Predators are currently 5 points behind the Colorado Avalanche for the 2nd wild card spot, and they are currently 7 points behind the Minnesota Wild for an automatic playoff qualifying slot in the Central Division. Now, for the Nashville Predators, this 2-game road trip wraps up with the Coyotes game. Then the Preds head home for a 1-game homestand against the Pittsburgh Penguins. That'll take place on Tuesday night, and the Preds are off for a lengthy road trip and also quite a bit of mileage. On March the 2nd, the Nashville Predators will be in Florida to take on the Panthers. Then on March the 4th, the Predators will be in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. On the 6th, the Predators will be in Vancouver, and then on the 9th, right back in Arizona playing against these same Arizona Coyotes yet again. This road trip is incredibly long coming up. Now, the season series between these Central Division rivals, this will be the third of 4 meetings on the season. I just mentioned the fourth will be coming up on the 9th of March, again in Arizona. So let's go back and talk about the 2 games that took place at Bridgestone Arena. It was on November the 21st when these 2 teams met for the first time this year. The Preds scored a 4-3 victory in the shootout. It was the captain, Roman Josi, with the goal and an assist for 2 points. Matt Duchene and Mikhail Granlund chipped in with the other goals in that game. Most recently, February the 13th, the Preds fell on home ice 4-2 to the Coyotes. It was Krause tormenting the Preds for 2 goals. Josi and Sissons were the goal scorers for the Nashville Predators. That means Roman Josi has scored a goal in each game against Arizona this season. The trend should continue against the Arizona Coyotes going into this game because Roman Josi is absolutely on a tear right now. And speaking of the Arizona Coyotes, let's talk about their most recent stretch of games. Let's go back and look at a sample size of just 5, and for Predators fans, it's going to be painful, but we go back and we mentioned it yet again, February the 13th, a 4-2 victory for Arizona in Nashville, and on the 15th, it was a 1-0 shootout victory versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Then on the 18th, a 6-5 shootout loss at L.A., followed up the next day on the 19th, it's a 3-2 overtime win versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then on the 22nd, their most recent game, a 6-3 loss versus the Calgary Flames. Vejmelka in net for that one, 45 out of 51. Incredibly heavy workload in that game. Injuries starting to become a problem for the Nashville Predators now. Ryan Johansson going to be out 3 months, which means the rest of the season, and his rehab will take place well into the summer, heading towards next training camp. Forsberg day-to-day still, but on the road trip. Carrier, same situation day-to-day, but on the road trip when there's only 1 game left on the road trip. So you have to anticipate at least one of them are going to get into the lineup for this next game against the Arizona Coyotes. Also waiting word on Parsonen, left in the second period, injured. Clearly something very wrong with him, and he did not return in the third period at all, so we're waiting on his injury status. And Borowiecki, of course, still on injured reserve, and I don't believe anticipated to be back this season. Not at this point, not with as long as he has been on injured reserve. Taking a look inside the matchup, the NHL ranks and the numbers between the Nashville Predators and the Arizona Coyotes, and they are not the prettiest numbers of all, but it should lead to some balanced competition, as we've seen. The teams are 1-1 so far this season against each other. In the goals for category, the Nashville Predators 2.86 is 25th in the NHL. The Arizona Coyotes 2.67 is 28th in the league. When it comes to goals against, 3 is what the Nashville Predators give up per game, and that's 14th in the league, right there in the middle of the pack, while the Arizona Coyotes give up 3.48 per game. That is 23rd overall in the NHL. Shots for, the Preds generate 30.6 on net per game. That's 21st best in the NHL, while the Arizona Coyotes are the worst overall in the NHL in shots on goal at 25.7. That's 32nd out of 32 teams. In the shots against category, the Nashville Predators give up 33.7 shots per game. Heavy workload on UC Saros. That's 27th in the league in the shots against category for Arizona, 35.5 per game. That is 31st in the NHL. So that is dramatically worse than the Nashville Predators in each of those statistical metrics. In the special teams category, the Nashville Predators power play 17.9%. On the season is 26th in the NHL, 32 out of 179 opportunities. The Arizona Coyotes power play is better, 19.7% conversion rate, 24th overall in the league, 34 out of 173 opportunities. When it comes to the penalty kill, it is the Arizona Coyotes 25th in the league. They have given up a massive number, 54 power play goals against on the season. While the Preds have given up 38 power play goals against, they are 14th in the NHL and a kill rate of 80.2%. When it comes to the NHL, every team has significant individual offensive threats and scores, so we always go down the stats, and we always talk about the top 5 scorers on each team. For the home team, Arizona Coyotes, in this game, 24 goals, 31 assists, 55 points for Keller. Schmaltz is second in scoring on the Arizona Coyotes, 16 goals and 21 assists for 37 points. Krause, who had 2 goals against the Preds in the most recent game, 19 goals on the season, 12 assists, 31 points overall. Gosper, 9 and 20 for 29, and Maselli 4 and 25 for 29. Vejmelka in net 15, 18, and 5, but a .903 save percentage on the season. A 3.38 goals against average is not tremendous, but for a team that is in 7th place and has a goal differential of -47, to have a save percentage of over 900 is absolutely outstanding. Vejmelka is a really, really good talent for the Arizona Coyotes. Just doesn't have a lot in front of him. For the Nashville Predators, the captain, Roman Josi, has been on an absolute tear as of late. 15 goals, 36 assists, 51 points on the season to lead the Nashville Predators. Matt Duchene at 17 goals now and 29 assists for 46 points on the season. Philip Forsberg still out day-to-day, injured, but 19 goals, leads the Nashville Predators, 23 assists and 42 points, is third overall on the team. Mikhail Granlund, 9 and 25 for 34. Big uptick in Mikhail Granlund's statistics in the last couple of games. And Nino Niederreiter, 18 goals and 10 assists on the season, 28 points overall. UC Saros' updated numbers: 22 wins, 16 and 5, 916 save percentage, 2.82 goals against average. That's got you all set for the Nashville Predators versus the Arizona Coyotes coming up on Sunday. Reasonable start time for the Nashville Predators out there in the desert, and they've got revenge on their mind. They just took a beating to this same club on home ice, and frankly, looked pretty bad doing it. If the Nashville Predators want to continue climbing and fighting for a wild card spot or that final playoff spot in the Central Division, well, then these are 2 points that the Nashville Predators simply cannot leave Arizona without. That gets you all set up for the Preds and the Coyotes. We got to go back and take a look at the Nashville Predators' last game. That's called the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap, and that's coming up next. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We go all the way back to February the 23rd of the year 2023, and the Nashville Predators were in San Jose to take on the Sharks. John Hines deploys his new lines in the Ryan Johansson injury era in the following way. Granlund, Glass, and Tomasino make up your first line. Niederreiter, Novak, and Duchene make up your second line. Trennan, Parson, and Sherwood recently called up to take Johansson's spot on the roster, now on the third line for the Preds. Smith, Sissons, and Janot make up your fourth line. McDonough and Josi, Ekholm and Luzon, Gravel and Fabro, which have been the defensive pairings a lot as of late. And UC Saros gets the start in net. We are 2:42 into the first period, and Reimer is coming up with a save on the captain, Roman Josi. First shot on goal of the game for either team. 3:47 of the first period, Reimer comes up with a save on Sherwood's wraparound attempt. 5:57 of the first period, Barbanoff's off the box, 2 minutes for tripping, and it is Nino Niederreiter's 17th goal of the season as his shot goes off of the leg of the defense and into the net, giving the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead. Thought this could be Matt Duchene's goal at first as he was knifing towards the top of the crease, but the puck ends up going in off of the defender before it can get to Matt Duchene. Nashville Predators have a 1-0 lead on Niederreiter's 17th goal of the season. 8:45 of the first period, Glass is off the box, 2 minutes for interference. UC Saros comes up with a save on Cott, the first shot on goal for San Jose in this entire game. 15:55, Saros comes up with a save on Barbanoff. 18:27, Reimer comes with a save on Duchene's deflection. He falls backward and covers the puck on the goal line. Parsonen could not get there before the netminder could. Reimer covers it up, preventing the Nashville Predators from scoring. 19:10 of the first period, Saros comes up with a save on Vlasic off of the rush. We hit the end of the first period. The Nashville Predators hold a 1-0 lead on the road, and they are also out shooting their opponent, San Jose Sharks, 7-5. 1:28 into the second period on a brand new clean sheet. It's Mikhail Granlund's 8th goal of the season. Glass crashing hard. Reimer gets fooled. Granlund beats him from the awkward angle. The Nashville Predators have a 2-0 lead. Good job by Mikhail Granlund, who is typically a pass-first player, throwing the puck on net and just seeing what could happen right there. And what happened? It goes into the net. 2:03 into the second period, Saros comes up with a save on Svechnikov. 3:27, Saros comes up with a save on Asimont. 4:03 of the second, Saros a save on Nick Bonino. Yes, that Nick Bonino. 5:54 of the second period, Sturm is assessed a 5-minute cross-checking major, but this penalty is reviewed. Upon review, the penalty is overturned, and so there is no penalty called at all. Now, this scary situation right here is Juuso Parssinen seemed to somewhat collapse. I don't know if collapse is the most appropriate word, but something was extremely awkward about the way Parsonen got up, seemed to grab at his arm, and then just fell down and then was kicking his skate on the ice over and over again. Again, no word as of the end of the game on Parsonen at this point. We will just say that he is day to day and hope for an update coming up soon. 8:05 into the second period. Carlson's off the box, 2 minutes for hooking. At this point, it is the San Jose Sharks, though, that are capitalizing, as the captain, Roman Josi, has a misplay near the blue line. Sturm absolutely wins the race, cutting right down the middle of the ice, leading to a partial breakaway, beats UC Saros, and Sturm gets his 12th goal of the season. Suddenly, the Nashville Predators are only up 2-1. 10:16 of the second period. Immediately out of the box, Erik Karlsson hits the crossbar, and he was in clean behind the D for a breakaway as well. So they had one shorthanded goal, and then immediately after the penalty is over, Karlsson hits the crossbar. San Jose misses a great opportunity to tie this game up. At 13:34 of the second, though, Mikhail Granlund is responding yet again. Now his second goal of the game, his 9th goal of the season. Tomasino's incredible setup off of the rush. This was a world-class primary assists from Philip Tomasino, obviously feeling a lot better now that he's been called up for a couple of games, getting his skates back under him at the NHL level. Mikhail Granlund, another great job going to the hard area. We've seen him the last couple of games improving dramatically in this type of jam play. Preds hold a 3-1 lead over the Sharks in the second period. 18:05, Gravel's off the box, 2 minutes for interference. It would be Yakov Trenin seizing the opportunity for the Nashville Predators in the shorthanded opportunity. Cole Smith creates the chance by forcing the turnover just inside the blue line, then sets up Trenin at the top of the crease for the redirect in. Trenin's 8th goal of the season gives the Nashville Predators a 4-1 lead going into the second intermission. A shorthanded goal for the Preds, and the Nashville Predators are out shooting San Jose 22-15 after 40 minutes of regulation hockey. We're into the third period. It's 21 seconds in, and there's UC Saros back to work, coming up with a save on McDonald. 50 seconds in, it's caught second goal of the season. Tommy Novak's turnover ends up in the back of the net. The Preds had 2 at the blue line and could not get the puck worked out along the wall. The Nashville Predators maintain a 2-goal lead, but that, as of late, has not been very safe for the Preds in the third period. Nashville 4, San Jose 2, just 50 seconds into the third period. At 4:02 of the third, Jeannot is off to the box. 2 minutes for boarding. The PK was good enough because, well, the other team didn't score. 6:37 of the third period, Saros comes with a save on McGregor. 8:17, Ekholm off the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Mikhail Granlund has a shorthanded opportunity, and Mikhail Granlund just flying in this game. 10:39 of the third period, UC Saros comes up with another big save before the Preds immediately head back down the ice in transition. That's where Niederreiter comes up with his 18th goal of the season. It was a pass attempt that went off of Reimer and in, so Niederreiter was looking to share this goal. Instead, he ends up getting this goal, his 18th goal of the season now, and Nashville leads 5-2 over San Jose. 13:13 in the third period, Icemont's off the box, 2 minutes for roughing. The Nashville Predators are unable to, as a matter of fact, the Nashville Predators do convert. I made the note in the wrong place. Tommy Novak's 8th goal of the season converts for the Nashville Predators. It was a redirect off of Matt Duchesne's feed, and that gives the Nashville Predators a 6-2 lead. Tommy Novak yet again proving why he deserves to stay here at the NHL level. 17:10 of the third period, Niederreiter and Benning off to the box, 2 minutes each, 4-on-4. That's right, that Matt Benning actually not playing that bad for San Jose this season compared to his historical numbers with the Nashville Predators. 19:13 of the third period, McDonald's off the box, 2 minutes for hooking. That means that the Nashville Predators would close the game out on the penalty kill, but they would close the game out. The final would be 6-2. The Nashville Predators outshoot San Jose 30-24 in this game. So the Nashville Predators find a way to put up another dominating offensive performance against a team that, frankly, they should be able to do that. Now they have seized all 6 points that they have had the possibility of taking against the San Jose Sharks. So the Nashville Predators sweep the regular season series, 2 in the Global Series to open the season, and now this most recent game in San Jose. The Nashville Predators finding a way to get it done. If only every one of their opponents could be the San Jose Sharks, but there's a lot of other teams in the NHL, especially in the Western Conference, that are also saying the exact same thing. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap. That's got you all set up for the next Preds game. Now you're all caught up on the last Preds game. Now it's time for the Renegades of Puck analysis, stats, opinions, all of that coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
UC Saros was 22 out of 24 in this game. The starting netminder for the Nashville Predators picks up his 22nd victory of the season. And, it was a weird one for UC Saros. Long stretches with absolutely no action, like the first 10 minutes of the game without facing a shot, and then immediate bursts of short intensity by the San Jose Sharks. And it was kind of this weird ebb and flow for the entire game. And the point I wanted to bring up about UC Saros in this situation was the focus that he was able to maintain. At the end of the night, facing 24 shots, of course, is not all that much for UC Saros. That's actually considerably light workload for a team that typically gives up 33.7 shots against per game. The Preds gave up almost 10 shots less in this game against the San Jose Sharks. And UC Saros must have, frankly, been wondering what was going on for long stretches, but the San Jose Sharks unable to generate a lot of stable offense. So a weird game for UC Saros, but he got the job done, giving up a breakaway goal. Not such a big deal right there. That's a tough one for him at any point in time, but UC Saros does enough to get the win for the Nashville Predators in kind of an odd game from a goaltending standpoint, looking out from the Nashville Predators crease. Now, there's a whole lot of other really good things to talk about for the Nashville Predators in this game, and Mikael Granlund's got to be the top of the list. 2 goals and assists for 3 points. Of course, that naturally would lead the conversation. 6 shots on goal also was the leader of the team in that category, but Mikael Granlund stepping up the way he did in the absence of Philip Forsberg, in the absence of course, Ryan Johansson, and also with the circulating and speculation of trade rumors around this particular player. Mikael Granlund, face it, everybody understands, has underperformed this season, especially compared to what he was able to do last season. So Mikael Granlund putting up 3 points and 6 shots on goal. It was easily his best game of the season, but it wasn't just the stats. It wasn't just the numbers. This is one of those where the eye test will go ahead and prove everything that the stats say. He just looked like a different player than we're used to seeing Mikael Granlund. The reason John Hines was using him for 25 minutes a game as a top-line center, that wasn't necessarily the appropriate position or amount of time on ice for Mikael Granlund, but he was, for a stretch of time there, playing an incredibly dominant two-way game. And this last night was a return to that for the first time, frankly, this entire season. So for Mikael Granlund, worth the extra discussion points right there. Matt Duchene also stepping up in the absence of Johansson and Forsberg, and also Parsonen by the end of this game. Being out of the lineup, so Matt Duchene stepping up to help out right there. 3 assists in this game overall, 20-12 in total time on ice. That led the forwards in time on ice, and Matt Duchene also has had a really strong last couple of games, been very noticeable out there on the ice, skating hard, going to the hard areas, and certainly competing very hard for the puck. And Nino Niederreiter is going to be the third point in this overall point that I'm about to make. Niederreiter's 2 goals. Great to see Nino Niederreiter again back being a consistent goal scorer for this Nashville Predators team. And if only he could play against the San Jose Sharks each and every game. We made the joke going into the game. It wasn't really a joke. It was predicting a trend since he had scored in the first 2 games of the season against San Jose Sharks that he was going to score in this game, and he absolutely did, scoring 2 more goals. And I wanted to bring up those 3 as a group, Granlund, Duchene, and Niederreiter, because, again, there aren't very many recognizable names left at this point in the season due to the nature of the injuries and the turnover of this Nashville Predators team over the last couple of seasons. So to see Granlund, Duchene, Niederreiter all step up in the absence of Philip Forsberg, in the absence of Ryan Johansson, and help their team win. Yes, I know it was against San Jose Sharks, who are comparable to the Nashville Predators in the standings. Let's not be too deceived. As bad as the season as the Sharks have had, the Nashville Predators are also in the class of teams that is outside of the playoffs looking in right now. So for the Nashville Predators, those three stepping up, a big moment. Now, let's talk about a couple of other players, though. The youth on this team. Tommy Novak picking up a goal and assist for 2 points. He continues to be Tommy consistency. I really enjoy watching Tommy Novak out there on the rink and in games. I enjoyed watching him last year, and I'm enjoying watching him this year. And yes, he picked up a penalty in this game, but I thought he was incredibly strong out there in his amount of time on ice. Tommy Novak, 1839 in total time on ice, and getting the opportunity to step up in second-line center position, which is where, of course, Ryan Johansson typically plays. Also want to point out Philip Tomasino, 2 assists in this game, and Glass an assist in this game, but mostly I want to highlight Tomasino in this situation. Glass continues to be the consistent puck distributor and continues going to the hard areas, but that's not anything new. Philip Tomasino now getting his skates back under him, getting his confidence under him at the NHL level after training camp. The Nashville Predators did a lot to damage the confidence of this player when he had the opportunity to remain here and should have remained here. Tomasino's passing in this particular game was incredible. Next level, high level distribution service right there. And Philip Tomasino is a good, strong hockey player. His 2 assists, he also had 2 shots on net, and he did all this in just 10-20 of total time on ice. So Philip Tomasino, obviously we're continuing to see the development. I've had a chance to watch him in development camp, preseason, in the NHL a lot last season, and I think Tomasino is a very good player and perhaps an underrated prospect by the Nashville Predators organization itself. So to see the veterans stepping up in Granlund, Duchesne, and Niederreiter is outstanding, but then to see the trio of youth also stepping up in Novak, Tomasino, and Glass, that's also wonderful news for the Nashville Predators and a lot of the future on display right there. That's going to wrap up the analysis portion. We've got stats, box score, and we've also got Brian Baston coming up in the next segment. The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. The Nashville Predators had 2 forwards with 2 goals in this game. Great to see the Nashville Predators having multi-goal games by players last year. We saw it from Forsberg and Duchesne so often that you almost started to expect. So to see Granlund and Niederreiter with 2 goals apiece in this game for the Nashville Predators, that's good and impressive stuff. Tommy Novak also chips in a goal. Yakov Trenin also chips in a goal. That makes up all 6 goals for the Nashville Predators. So all 6 goals coming from the forwards. As a matter of fact, almost a weird statistical anomaly. With Roman Josi in the lineup, you've become so expectant to see a lot of points piled up by the defense corps. Only 1 point total in this game by the defense corps. Of course, it was by the captain, Roman Josi, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So all the goals come by forwards. In the assist category, Matt Duchesne, 3 in the game, leads the Nashville Predators. Philip Tomasino also had 2 other forwards contributing with assists: Glass, Granlund, Novak, and Cole Smith. Cole Smith, a pivotal primary assist, stealing the puck, forcing a turnover, and then feeding Trenin for a goal at an important moment in the game. And Roman Josi, the lone assist for the defense corps for the Nashville Predators. So all the offense coming from the forwards in this game. That's not something that happens a lot with this Nashville Predators team. Shots on goal. Mikhail Granlund led the team with 6. If you go down the list, the next highest number was 3. Several players with 3. Duchesne, also Sherwood, Ekholm, Josi, and Luzon, all with 3 shots on net in this game. When it comes to block shots, Ryan McDonough with 4 block shots in this game, hobbled at one point. Good to see that he was able to get back up and continue for the Nashville Predators. So many injuries as of late. Ryan McDonough is truly one of the most stabilizing forces out there. They cannot afford to lose him or anyone else on the defense corps. Sherwood led the team in hits. First game called back up since the San Jose series at the beginning of the season. 4 hits in this game that led the Nashville Predators. Luzon was second on the team in hits with 3, a couple of others with 2. In time on ice, it was Matt Duchene getting the trust of the coach and earning the most ice time out there, and 3 assists. Absolutely says he was playing strong hockey. 2012 in total time skated. Now, I highlighted Parsonen in this situation. 5:23 in total time on ice because of the injury. That was the least amount of time skated by any Nashville Predator. And again, kind of a scary scene and situation. Hope he's okay. The captain, Romagnosi, no surprise, led the team in total time on ice with 24:37 skated. And then Ryan McDonough, just give him the stick taps on here too. 24:10 in total time on ice skated. For the defenseman, the least amount of time out there was Gravel, 12:03. He did still take 1 minor penalty, actually 2 penalties, 1 minor penalty, 2 penalty minutes in this game. That's going to do it for the actual box score, but that's not it for the numbers. Going inside the Renegade Analytics desk and talking about the numbers and beyond. He's got the charts you need to see, the numbers you need to know from ontheforecheck.com. He's the one and only Brian Baston. You can check him out on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can watch him right now.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. I'm Brian Baston here at the Renegade Analytics desk, and your Nashville Predators have won. In fact, they've won 2 in a row. After a game that was unnecessarily close between Vancouver a couple days ago, Nashville showed up to play San Jose, and through 2 periods, it looked kind of evenly matched, even if it wasn't on the scoreboard. But in the 3rd period, the Nashville Predators found that offense and exploded en route to a 6-2 victory. Now, Nashville has looked pretty good as of late on offense, scoring 5 goals against Vancouver, 7 goals against Florida. But does this team have what it takes to make it to the playoffs? Now, I know, and most of the people that you probably have heard or read don't think that's possible, and the chances are, let's just be honest, pretty slim. But what does Nashville have coming up ahead of them? And can Nashville survive that run to end the season and make a push into the playoffs? The playoff push is the topic of tonight's One Big Stat. So, Nashville has 26 games left in this season, and these 2 halves of the rest of the season are not created equal. So let's take a look. In the next 13 games for the Nashville Predators, they are playing opponents in which they are 12-2-4 against this season. That is a points percentage of about 78%, which is pretty good. Now, at that rate, over the next 13 games, so if over the next 13 games they continue to win get about 78% of the points, that's about a rate of 20 points over the next 13 games, which is good. 20 out of 26, that's excellent. But what about the last 13? Boy, it's a scary sight. Nashville, this is the run of teams that Nashville will play in the last 13 games of the season when they are trying to make their playoff push. 2 games at home against Seattle, a playoff team. A game at home against Toronto, a playoff team. Then they travel at Boston, a playoff team. At Pittsburgh, St. Louis at home. At Dallas, playoff team. Vegas, playoff team. Carolina, playoff team. Winnipeg, at Calgary, Minnesota, and Colorado. That's quite the murderous run. Now, that is basically, they have gone 6-12-4 against those 13 teams. That's a 41% points percentage. So at that rate, if they do that same performance, that's 11 points. Now, again, I talked about playoff teams. Those first 10 games, Nashville has 2 games against teams that are currently in playoff position. The LA Kings, which they are 1-0-1 against this season, and the Rangers, which oddly enough, they're 1-0-0. In the second half of this rest of the season, though, it's pretty dangerous. They have got 10 games. 10 out of 13 games are against current playoff teams, and a lot of these teams aren't bubble teams. These are guys who are leading their division. So if we look at that, and so Nashville, if they can swing those same percentages, so if they can do about 78% in these next 3 games, and then just 41% in the last 13. That projects them for 31 points, thereabouts, which in addition to their 62 they've got right now, that would put them at 93 points, which feels odd because it doesn't feel like they'd be able to get there. But remember, 31 points and they've got 52 outstanding. So they've got to be pretty good, and they've got to be better than what they are right now, which is mediocre. 93 points would be their projected total. But last season, they had 97 and made the playoffs. Now, should they have made the playoffs last season? Maybe. But the West is a little bit more of a kind of a toss-up this year, not compared to the East where everything seems like it's locked down. And I don't know. I seem to think 31 points out of the next 52 kind of seems unreachable. And if anything's going to stop that and make me true, it's going to be those last 13 games. Now, again, this is also assuming that they can get 78% of those points against the next 13 against teams like Arizona, Pittsburgh, Florida again. They've got at Detroit, or they go to Detroit. They've got Winnipeg. I mean, these are games that are not going to be easy. And so it's not looking great. Now, we can say, these are the records. This is what's good. But when you have to finish the season playing 10 teams that are in the playoffs right now, they're all going to be probably jockeying for position in the playoffs too. I don't think there's going to be a lot with the way the West is. There's a lot of teams that are really going to be resting starters towards the end of the year. So Nashville has to figure something out. There's no Philip Forsberg. There's no Ryan Johansson. There's no Alex Carrier. And right now, we don't know if there's going to be a Juuso Parssinen. This team is struggling, and they are getting injured at the worst possible time. But hey, take solace in the fact that if you are a fan of tanking and rebuilding this team, those last 13 games are just what the doctor ordered for you. But as always, we don't want them to lose. We don't want to hope for them to lose. So go Predators. But I have a feeling that the playoffs may be kind of a dream for the Nashville Predators. And that's the topic of tonight's One Big Stat.
I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. For the Nashville Predators, it's simple. They have a huge mountain to climb if they want any hope of making a run at one of the final playoff spots in the Western Conference. The teams ahead of them are continuing to play well, and the Nashville Predators cannot afford to lose any points in opportunistic moments like playing a team below them in the standings. There are so few and far opportunities for the Nashville Predators to have those types of games. This is one of those games. Now, we always say you can't just assume those points. When the Nashville Predators still had 3 games to go against the Arizona Coyotes, when we were talking about this matchup just recently, we said don't assume all 6 points, even though the Coyotes are easily one of the worst teams in the NHL. And coming into Bridgestone Arena, they only had 6 road wins at that time. The Arizona Coyotes cannot be taken lightly, and the Nashville Predators have split the 2 games with the Coyotes. As a matter of fact, if you went by just points, the Arizona Coyotes have been able to earn 3 points out of a possible 4 against this Nashville Predators team so far on the season, and that all came at Bridgestone Arena. Now the season series shifts to Arizona, a new experience for the Nashville Predators, a new rink that they've heard a lot about. They've probably seen a lot about on social media. Maybe even some of the friends they have around the league have texted them or told them in passing about what it's like to go play in this new, much smaller environment on this college or college rank. So for the Nashville Predators, they cannot be overwhelmed by the newness of that experience or whatever it is with the vibe that's going on out there with the Coyotes. The Coyotes have been putting up decent results as of late. They scored a victory over the Predators. They scored a victory over Tampa Bay. They scored a victory over the lowly Columbus Blue Jackets, but they also picked up a point against the LA Kings, who are another playoff team. So the Arizona Coyotes cannot be taken lightly, and the Nashville Predators have to go back and remember how they just got embarrassed on home ice by this Coyotes team when they were outplayed in the third period. Tied at 2 apiece, 20 minutes to go on your home ice, and you could not beat the 7th place Arizona Coyotes. They outplayed you, they outcompeted you, and they came away with the 2 points. The Nashville Predators got to find a revenge factor. They got to find some momentum in the desert, and they've got to finish off this 2-game road trip against 2 of the worst teams in the Western Conference by picking up all 4 of those points, because they've got significant competition coming up next. They're going to be facing Pittsburgh and Florida in the next 2 games before they have another opportunity like this. They are on the precipice of falling out of the playoff race. The trade deadline is looming, and injuries are starting to add up. This Nashville Predators team simply needs to focus on these next 2 points, collect those 2 points, and get back home to Bridgestone Arena for that 1-game homestand. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. We are going to have a lot of information coming out. Please make sure you're checking out all of our social media platforms. Tailgate Brewery, you know the location because we spent so much time talking about it, and we also spent one cosmic and magical evening hanging out there last year for the Home Base Freakout. Home Base Freakout 2 is a go. All Renegades to the trenches. Home Base Freakout 2 is a go. It will take place on March the 24th, Tailgate Brewery Music Row. We'll have a whole lot more on this event, but I can tell you right now, it is all ages. There is no cover charge, and it is a hockey celebration for everyone. So let's start getting people in the know. Let's start passing that intel around, and let's start letting people know about the Home Base Freakout 2 coming up. We will be celebrating everything that we love about this incredible game getting together, and our new Renegades of Puck beer this year. We're going to be on tap. We're getting on the main stage. We're going to be featured right up there on the wall at Tailgate Brewery Music Row. I had an incredible meeting with everybody down there, the management team, the marketing team. They do an awesome job. Please support them. Tailgate Brewery, local business, doing great things for our local community, and they absolutely are tremendous when it comes to their support of the hockey community, especially Trey down there running the Music Row location and, frankly, running a whole lot of other things when it comes to the company. So stick taps, love, and respect to everybody at Tailgate Brewery, our great partners who will help us host Home Base Freakout 2. We'll also be having some news, announcements, guests, prizes, all the stuff you come to know and love and expect from Renegades of Puck, but we'll be doing it for charity this time, and we'll be having an announcement with who we will be partnering up to benefit coming up soon. I'm so incredibly excited. As soon as I get the go-ahead, we'll go ahead and make that announcement. Sure to appreciate each and every one of you. Actually, let me back up and say it this way. You know what, Renegades? I appreciate your time. I appreciate your viewership, and most importantly, I appreciate you. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.